All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy Jurnalist, and on this one, we are here for the long-awaited. I don't even know how long. It's probably like a year or something. But this is BTS's RM and Pharrell talk producing and their upcoming collab and more. Yeah, let's check this out. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Let's get some insight into some great artists' mind. See what we have to say. Thank you for joining me. Please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description, and let's get into it.
I'm not sure if you.
Oh, no. Fuck off, mate. Both of you niggas is violators. I don't give a fuck how good your music is. Those boots are neither one of, like, oh, Jesus Christ. Them shits on Pharrell look like black trash bags with the bottom of a jogger, the part that goes around your ankle, if that was flipped upside down. And that's at the top now for some random fucking reason. And then RM's boots are not that bad, but Jesus Christ, he looked like those the scuba divers from back in the day that wore the big round helmets and shit and had the big heavy steel boots. He looked like one of them, man, from the ankle down. Jesus Christ. Everything else seems calm. But the shoes in this motherfucker. No. See, this is where money, arrogance, and fashionista, like, somebody put them shoes on Pharrell, and he was like, yeah, that's okay. Look at the heel on that bitch. Oh, that heel look crazy. These are a one-time wear. I wore these on camera type of shoe. I promise you. Oh, them shits look ugly. We could possibly work with RM's boots, but Pharrell is a high-level flagrant violator with these. Oh, shit. And then who chose these chairs? These chairs are just definitely not set for fucking a conversation. Jeez, okay, I'm done.
If you remember it or not, but we've met at
Of course.
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then.
I like that energy for real. Like, nigga, I was been trying to do this. See? Normal fashion shit. Normalcy. Not really. Them pants look like the pants that what are the man look? Matadors. Them look like Matador pants, and then the shirt looked like some shit that I would see like Mexican ranchers wearing. Like I'm not mad at it. I don't like it, but I'm not mad at it. It's not my kind of thing. But it's normalcy. See, come on. This Pharrell. Pharrell looked like it's fucking 2001, back in Neptunes and shit. Jesus. Normal outfit, completely casual.
First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me
as well.
I think that there's a huge benefit in writing and
love it.
producing
With the
for other
grills.
people. I'm
Yes.
sure you may feel that way as well, but it allows me to go to places that I wouldn't go for myself. And as much as it feels like, places that way as well, but there's a huge benefit in writing and producing for other people. I'm pretty sure you may feel that way as well, but it allows me to go to places that I wouldn't go for myself. And as much as it feels like, I may know what I'm doing when I'm doing songs that I'm, featured as a solo artist, some people know, but most people don't know that all of my solo efforts have always been songs that I have written and produced for other people. In fact, when I try to write songs for myself or produce songs for myself, they always are too complex and seem much more like a puzzle than they do, a jam, like a bop. But I do those for other people. So for me, oftentimes my best stuff is the stuff that I poach back for myself. I don't know how it is for you.
In 2005, I was just an elementary school kid, and I just wanted to be a rapper. As I got to know what's rap, it's basically it's rhythm and poetry. I really felt attracted for this whole genre to send the messages to the world. Actually, it's really embarrassing to.
This is one of the rare times that I can hear in his speech indentations the nervousness in wanting to say the right thing, but also him having to deal with translating what his actual thoughts are and not fanboy out. So his brain right now has got to be a jumble.
Answer about all this in front of my idol, but For me, for me, it's it's really it's really more comfy to, mostly for me, I write somebody's lyrics or the melodies for other artists, not as many as you, but it feels like, it gives me another avatars and characters.
Yes.
Yes. So when it comes to me, it's a complex, and it always comes with the pain, to confess. But it's still the most important part for me.
I can relate to that. I think the pain part for me is probably the fun part, because that's like some of the most vivid paint that we can use as artists when we're like filling in what we want to be a powerful verse. It's like, okay, does it hurt enough? Or does it feel good enough?
True.
So I understand you there when you say, you inject the pain in your verses to make sure that like, they're strong. I agree.
I was wondering the creative process, how it's different for you yourself, like In My Mind or Girl, or between the songs you made for the others, like the singers or the rappers, or like clips, grinding, of course. I just wonder the difference, from the scratch.
So when an artist walks in, they ask for something.
Like a track or idea?
They'll say, I just want something hard, or I want something darker, or I want, something that's like for the club, like,
banger.
You know what I'm saying? A banger, like. And so I'm considering what they're looking for, but I'm also thinking about like the texture of their voice and the patterns and the melodies that they do usually. Then I think about how I can give them something very different than they've ever done before. And so when you mix all of that together, a lot of times, an artist will say, man, that's a little different for me or whatever. And then I'll go ahead and reference it and, sell it to someone else. And then like oftentimes that same person will come back to me and say, man, why didn't you play me that? And I'm like, I did play you that, but they weren't hearing it in that way.
Wow, that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part. But then there are people who jump out the window and they go ahead and try it. Because my whole thing is just try it. We don't have to put it out.
Right.
But, people are so good at what they do. Sometimes they're afraid to explore different parts of their voice, different parts of their personality, and different parts of their career. So, they're a little like hesitant. But for the ones that do try it, they get to experience something new. And look, if we decide at the end of the day it's just not right for them, it's not right for them.
Right.
But
I think that's probably my biggest frustration, but my biggest delight is when I do get to work with an artist and I tell that motherfucker, jump up, spin 3 times, and shake your right arm. And that's the motherfucking play. And then they do it. And it's for the exact reason that Pharrell's saying. It's because we don't have to put this shit out. But if you don't, in the attempt of trying to achieve the song that I see we should be making, don't give me the full attempt with heart and earnestness and really try and deliver the thing as I would like to have it for the one take, then I feel like that then becomes my most frustrating point of working with people is they're just like, oh, I just don't want to. Or when they do it, it's like half-assed and like it's got like this air of like anger and angst in it. Like, I don't want to do this shit. And it's just like, we're working in the digital age. Like, if this was the 90s and I was asking for that shit, it would make sense. Man's still recording the tape. We're still not doing digital quite too much. But like in today's time, it cost us fucking nothing besides a couple of seconds of time for you to give me the take that I want. Then we can do the take you want, and then we can A/B them versus each other to see. And then if we end up not liking either of them, we can delete them, we can move on, we can do whatever. But if we never do it with heart and earnestness the way that I think it should be done at least once, it's so fucking frustrating. And it's my biggest pet peeve working with artists, because when somebody asks me to do something in a studio session and I'm not comfortable with it, I'm so in on trying to get better myself individually or for the song that I do the most ignorant shit that people have asked me to do. I'm trying to get better at learning how to sing, actually. The person that was trying to teach me how to sing at the time, he was taking the piss out of me, but the technique actually ended up working. But I was so willing to look foolish for fucking 5 seconds because I want to achieve something on the backside of this that I'm willing to do whatever. So I'm standing in the middle of a fucking studio holding the fucking cajon because I don't know how to distend my diaphragm because I'm not a singer. I don't know about putting air all the way down there. Man, just breathe. That's what I do. But in doing this, it helped distend my diaphragm, which helped me reach notes that I couldn't have reached before. Now I kind of know that feeling. Is it perfect? No. But was I willing to do the shit? Like Pharrell saying, jump the fuck out the window and do it. You're goddamn right. And that's where I want people to be. And that's the most joyous time I have working with people is when they're like, I'm ready to jump out the window. We'll do whatever. If we don't like it, we don't have to. But if we can, fucking do it. Ah, it's so good.
You got to hear a different side. That's my favorite part of writing and producing for other people.
Like a challenging.
Yeah.
Like, so here comes another thing.
Okay.
I started to listen to music. I mean, like the hip hop music in 2005. I started.
I know it's a language thing, but it just sounds like an old man talking. I started listening to the hip hop music. Fuck. Has anybody seen Still Game? This is also why it's a joke to me. It's because there's a joke in Still Game for these old people trying to teach this young dude to talk to a girl. And they're like, I like the rap. I like the PlayStation. That nigga said the hip hop.
Music, I mean, like the hip hop music in 2005. I started with the Nas and Eminem.
Okay.
Of course, the classics.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I get to know you, when I first listened to your song, especially, I just want to point out "Take It Off," because that's my playlist, one of the playlists.
Whoa,
so
that's crazy.
When I listened to it, I even translated into Korean and I just recorded once when I was I'm amateur.
Whoa.
So you know, when I listened to it, I just always been wanting to have the, you know, frequency, like, you know, because you always cross over this. These days, genre doesn't mean anything. But I think at that time, was like, you know, some rappers really criticize the rappers who sing or use the autotunes.
Right.
But I don't know, you started your career as a producer, or so you're like very natural for that. But I always wanted to have the frequency like you. Like, you know, sometimes it's just singing. It could be falsetto. Sometimes you rap. Sometimes you just sang the hook for the other artists, like Snoop Dogg. And so how do you position yourself when you participate in the song as a player? Like,
wow. First of all, these are great questions.
Thank you.
And no one's ever asked me that, believe it or not. Like, no, I've never had a journalist ever ask me that.
That really matters to me.
So, and that's like no cap. Like, you, believe it or not, no one's, and it sounds like they could have, and because it's such an obvious question, but no one's ever asked me that. So I'm blown away by that. Everything, I make decisions based off of feeling. I don't make them based off of convention.
I gotta rap, I gotta sing.
Yeah, no, it's just whatever it feels like it needs. And I'm gonna channel it as best as I can, because I'm trying to tell somebody else who's gonna be better than me to do it. And oftentimes what will happen was artists will be like, nah, we want you to stay on there. And I'll be like, no, but it's for this person. But I channel what I feel like is missing. And I forget that it's gonna be me, because if I think that it's gonna be me, then it won't be as good and I won't be as confident. I'm only confident knowing that I am giving the instruction and the directives to someone else. Like, for example, there's a record that I did with Mystical a long time ago called
Mystical.
Wow. Yeah, Shake Your Ass, right? Ooh. So when I did that record, I was thinking, like, you know, writing wise, you know, Chad and I produced it together, but when I was writing that hook, I was pretending that, like, Eddie Kendricks from The Temptations could do it. And I remember saying to them, oh man, you know, we're gonna get, like, you know, we're gonna get, you know, the guy from the Temptations to do it. And they were like, nah, the record company wants you to stay on there. I was like, wait, what? So it was like this weird thing where, like, I started to realize that was my sweet spot, is when I channel other people and I surrender to what the music needs and not let my ego or my feelings get involved. And then I actually make better decisions, whether it's gonna be me on the song at the end of the day or
the
not.
other artist.
Or another artist. I filled in the blank and given them a different feeling. And oftentimes, sometimes I would be sharp, you know, when I'm singing on there, but it just felt good and we would just leave it.
So I'm not sure if you.
That's where I would have to say it's two things. One, the channeling of other artists is sometimes the best thing you can do, but in today's times, especially when you are in such a litigious business, that you can't let people know that you are channeling anybody, because they'll be like, oh, well, like, you was just taking a vibe, and then like that's that song, and then like, oh, Jesus Christ, you end up being Robin Thicke and fucking T.I. with Blurred Lines. And I swear Pharrell produced that as well. Yeah, so you can't really do that, but channeling an artist sometimes does help really paint the brush or paint the picture of what should happen on a record sometimes, because it does give you another space to inhabit, because we're not that person. So in doing so, you really get to be like, or like when I have a song called Fuck the Queen that we've not put out. We perform it at every show, though. It's like how we end every show. But that when I wrote my verse for that, because I wrote the hook as we'll say like me, but like when I did the verse, I was like, this shit would sound so hard if it had Project Pat on it. So I was just like, let me channel some Project Pat. Like, what would he do? And it's Jurnalist, Smokey, 3 commas, how I edda, no chat, no patter. But yeah, in doing so, I got out of my own way trying to come up with the best verse possible, and then just kind of caught like this little bouncing vibe, and then just went into like this little Project Pat mode, and it works so well on the song that it's like, that's a beautiful moment. And then the second part of what did he say?
Felt good.
Yeah, the felt good part. That's where I got away from being like a mix engineer and went more into like a recording engineer, because being a recording engineer to me, I feel like is the brunt of the work, because the mix is simple when somebody records it well, when all the things are in, we'll say, the numerical metrics and standards that we require, then mixing the record down should take you 4 to 12 hours, top to bottom, mix and master. If you're 2 days really, if we're gonna count for ear fatigue, but like some folks are just really good and have a system, so it could get down to 4 to 12. But my point being is getting the take and hearing that moment, that specialness in a thing that, yeah, it's not perfect, but it felt right. And that's the one I want to have. And having that discernment and understanding of that's actually what makes music beautiful, is the moment. And knowing when the moment has happened is, I feel like, a skill I've had to hone over time. And that's why my favorite thing to do is to be a recording engineer. If I'm not writing a song and being on the song, being the recording engineer that kind of gets to affect the arrangement and choose which takes are going to be the takes. You really see how much a song can be helped or hindered by somebody else not caring about the moment and them just caring about the perfection of the line's supposed to be like this in this many seconds with this, like you're supposed to be hitting really hard on the ones and the fours, and it's like, yeah, it's cool, but like bro was real loose on the 4 and the 1 and it sounds sweet and we're gonna leave it. And those being a recording engineer is so fun sometimes before that exact reason.
And we would just leave it.
So I'm not sure if you remember it or not, but we've met at
of course,
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah,
do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then, but I didn't want to be aggressive. So I was like, let's just take a photo. But
you were nice.
But I really wanted to. I was like, yo, let's leave. I think we took a photo backstage.
Yeah, backstage in your room, actually.
Yeah, and then like I was working in a studio not too far off, and I really wanted to be like, yo, fuck all of this. No, you know what? Let me correct this, because I don't want your fan base to be mad at me using this kind of language.
No. You can cuss. You can cuss, Pharrell. However, the fact that you didn't do it is probably where the niggas is gonna get mad at you, because Army gonna slide on you. And this nigga, I was gonna let this shit slide. This nigga's leg has been shining in my face the whole time. To be sagging in hoochie daddy shorts is just some wild diabolical moves. This nigga is sagging while having hoochie daddies on. Like, this don't make no sense. either wear them bitches high or get more material added to the clothes. But like to sag in some hoochie daddies is crazy.
No, they're
But
not,
man, I was like, man, I wanted to be like, listen, let's leave here right now and go make some great music, because I just loved everything that you guys were doing. I love your energy, and you know, I love what it is that you represent. You know, at such a time when, you know, our Asian brothers and sisters and, you know, fellow Asian human beings that maybe don't identify necessarily binarily in a binary way, you know, the Asian community has just been going through so much
these days. Yeah.
And
gradually, more and more.
The Asian community has given me so much. And I really feel like y'all's energy, you're also showing like artist not just like in different, not just in one specific genre, but I think you're just like also showing people that like, you don't have to be, you can be humble. You guys, your energy is there's a lot of humility that you all vibrate. I think that's a great energy. What people don't realize is like when you have, you know, literally, you know, hundreds of millions of fans and you encounter them, you know, 20 and 50 and 100,000 at a time.
You can't notice a single face, you know. It's just a mass.
It's
MAS. That's not a.
It's a mass.
It's a mass,
and it is a massive voice, and it is a massive, using that word mass, it is a massive energy coming at you, and you say jump,
and then they jump,
and you sing, and they sing every word,
right,
and you know that you can feel through their voices that so many of their lives have been affected and changed because of something that you've done.
That's what
I don't know how you do that, because I've had a couple songs do that, and then when I get out there and go sing it, that would make me cry because it was too much of a responsibility. Every time I get that close.
Not the responsibility of it, but the fuck this really happened is where I'm like, if I ever get the opportunity to have that happen to myself, I promise I'm probably breaking down on stage like, yo, what the fuck just happened here? Like, you know that there was a Come Down by Rimmer, how bro just stood back? Or like, I don't know how the fuck Kendrick got through Not Like Us outside for the pettiness and anger is probably what dragged him through that. But to hear that many people sing my song and for them to really vibrate with it like that, I'd be crying like a little bitch. Like, they like me. They really like me. I promise you, I would be crying.
Close to that size and what I do as a musician, I always step back.
Oh, why? It's like, is it too heavy?
It's too heavy, man.
Too much?
It's too much of a responsibility. That's why I really revere people like yourself and, you know, your band members and other artists like B and J, and like, man, what y'all go out there and go face every night on that stage. It is humbling and it's overwhelming, and sometimes your nervous system got to be built for that.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: how do you deal after you come off the stage feeling electrified and shocked every night? How do you decompress, or do you decompress, or do you purge? Like, how do you do that?
It's, you know, my first performing was in front of like 10 people in some small clubs when I was like 15.
Okay.
And I like forgot most of the lyrics. So at that time, I just realized that, oh, I'm not a star type. I'm not a, you know, like a like a front man and, you know, could enjoy all this shit and just, you know, like Kurt Cobain or Mick Jagger. I'm not that type of. I'm just a human, just who loves writing music and just, you know, the energy. So every night, like for example, we had these stadium shows in Las Vegas last April. Yeah. It was 4, but like every night is a challenge. It's like same set list. You know, it's like maybe the same flow, sort of type, little different, but just like you said, that moment, like after we finished the first 3 beginning songs, and then we, you know, take out the earphones.
Yeah.
And then like we just like we're fucking back. It's like that's like everybody shouting out. At that moment, you know, that's when I really gets all the nerves and like you know there's a different me persona for the next 2 hours and a half. But before that, from the rehearsal and even in the plane, I got really nervous and you know like so responsible because I really am aware of the stories that you know fans buy the tickets and they come from Brazil, you know, from Japan, Korea, like from everywhere. They just come there for just that one night. So it feels me like I have to pay back, you know. I have to offer them the best night ever in their lives. So it's a mess and it's a too much energy. But I'm a human and I really get nervous and I really sometimes get depressed by and even you know get swallowed by all the energies. But I'm trying and I try to deal with it because I'm a human and I love the music. I love their love because you know I think love is really happening when we give somebody, not we receive. We take.
Yeah.
So I think it's more closer to the real love, I guess, personally. So I just want to give them back, you know. They brought us from, you know, just a small city in Korea all the way back to, you know, the heart of this music industry. Like Las Vegas, LA, New York, you know, me having an interview with Pharrell, it could happen because of, you know, fans all over the world. I'm just always grateful and I just don't want to disappoint them. How do you define?
That is the best answer you could want to hear if you are an Army fan. Because you're just like, oh, he feels like this for us when you guys are there screaming your fucking heads off, to feel like you want to give back to him because he's given so much to you, just in the record. So now he feels like he must give back in another exchange because you feel like you bought the ticket to the show, flew around the world for the show, for the record, and the message that record had for you and how it changed your life. That's like your penance and how you pay back what you feel like the artist is giving to you. And now the artist is now feeling like, oh, fuck, I got to pay something else back. And it's like a continual cycle. But the thing of it all is there's a level of humility that Pharrell was talking about that resonates through that entire statement, because unless you feel humbled by being able to move people like that, have these opportunities, grow into these spaces, you won't care. You won't put in the extra effort and time like we see these boys do. And I would say for an Army, that's got to be the best answer that you want to hear from somebody, especially in his position, because numerically he has the numbers to just be a right dickhead, but he's not, and he's just chill. And even in this moment, he's just like us. Like, I'm stressed the fuck out. It's a lot of responsibility. Bunch of fucking people. Nah, it's like, I'm fucking human. This is a lot to deal with. I like that. I like that.
How do you position yourself? Like, you know, you're a producer. Yeah, you may be a rapper. You may be a singer.
Yeah.
You may be a CEO.
Musician.
Yeah.
Father.
Yeah.
I feel like for Pharrell, I'm just human is going to be the answer.
Yep.
A husband.
Yeah.
Like, what's like, you know, of course the name Pharrell explains everything, but like, you know, but except that how will you define yourself? Like,
I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm a public servant first.
Public servant.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that word.
Yeah. And you know,
Shout out to the French, the Committee for Public Safety. It's a beautiful fucking name. Those people did a maza. But that's a great name.
you serve the public, you know, you're doing it's what
Something for public.
Yeah, and that's God's will. I'm a believer.
Oh, you're a believer.
Yeah, I believe, you know, the universe is real. For me, God is the universe. We're in the universe. And then, you know, again, you know, being a public servant, you know, being, you know, a father, a husband, And then music is like everything for me, because music's the skeleton key that's opened up every door for me to.
Still music is.
Yeah, it's like the center of everything, because without that, I wasn't able to do all the stuff that I'm able to do. And then I definitely have my struggles with having a lack of a sense of purpose, I think.
When? Like,
right around 2005, when I put out In My Mind.
In My Mind.
I just felt like,
after
man.
that? Right after that?
As soon as it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I mean, culturally, it made an impression, but it didn't do it egotistically. It didn't perform the way I wanted it to, chart-wise. Like, it just didn't do what I was used to at that time, and that really hit me hard. So that made me start to think about like purpose and things having real, true DNA, and not just aesthetic perversion, but like real, true, like meaning, and something that could be meaningful to people, but at the same time still fun. And you know, I've always loved a girl, so that was always going to be a part of it. But so I understand what that is. I know what it's like to hit that place in your career, and for whatever reason, and you guys are doing fine. But I think, you know, from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, you guys hit a place where you were like, you know, what are we doing? Who are we? Are we who we said we were?
Right.
You know, and you know, as you think about who you are and you think about what you mean and what your intentions are, it's like also kind of determining who you want to be. I mean, how's that feel? Like, where are you in that process right now? Because you're working on a solo record, right?
Yes, like 90% of the work is done.
Okay.
I've released some mixtape as one of the member of the band, but I think it was just like an experiments. I think this time it's maybe my official first solo album.
Okay.
That I could feel enough.
Okay.
I don't know it's gonna be like, I don't know if I would feel like you after My Mind or not, but I think, you know, it'll happen after when I release it.
Yeah.
So I'm just dependent on the time. But it's been just like 10 years after we had our debut as a team. So, you know, K-pop is, you know, all about the band and the groups. And actually, I told you, I personally started my career as a rapper, and as a poet.
Yeah.
So that was the tricky part, actually, because, you know, the K-pop is like a mix.
Yeah.
It's like the mix of American pop music, all the visuals and the choreos and social medias and stuff. It's really intense and really hectic. So it has some pros and cons of its own. So, you know, after 10 years, I think it was not our intention, but we took it. But we actually became a sort of a social figure. So, you know, a K-pop band going to have a speech at the UN, or, you know, meeting the presidents. It's like I think I was really confused that I'm what am I, like a diplomat or what? So
Yeah.
I was just a small rapper and lyricist when I was young, like from the scratch. So so it was 10 years.
Didn't Marcus just say from the scratch?
So when I was young, like from the scratch. So
The scratch. The scratch
so
and the scripts.
it was 10 years really intense as a team, and I actually was in charge, like almost all of the interviews, and you know, representing the team like in front of the other members. That was my stuff, I guess, role.
Yeah.
So I think I got really I don't know, like, yo, I gotta stop this for a bit.
Yeah.
I gotta shut it down and just, you know, fall from it away, and then just see what's going on. You know, making my mind really calm down.
Yeah.
And then I think so that's how I got to concentrate on my just solo. And these days I really have been thinking about the 15 when I first listened to you. You know, the first feeling and the vibe and the reason why I started, why I chose music to, you know, for my whole life, I guess. So yeah, when I was when I started my music, I was like 14, and now I'm like 28. So it's like just the half. It's like, you know, it's like way shorter than you. So I'm in that process. So it's really tricky and confusing, and I just don't know what's going to happen. So if you could give me any advices, because you were in the band, and you are in the band, and you done the band. It's different from the K-pop, but you've done a lot of projects, like of course NERD, Neptunes, and you know, of course your solo.
Yeah.
So, like any thoughts about
You know, being in the Neptunes, being in NERD, and having a solo record really helped me, because it you know, you do one thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then
switch
you take
modes.
a break. Yeah, and it allows me to like put on different hats and put on different masks. So I understand that, and I know like having that departure is gonna make it really fresh for you. I think it's good for you to do that, because then when you come back to it, you know, to the group,
the team.
I think it's gonna be, to the team, I think it's gonna be super fresh. You're gonna have a whole lot of ideas. I would just say continue to move forward, continue to be curious, and don't put any kind of necessary pressure on what it is that you do by saying, you know, no absolutes, like, oh, I will never do music again, or I will never, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just,
no nevers.
No nevers, just stay along for the ride. Just keep going.
Like cruising.
Yeah, and just see where you end up, because it's really interesting.
Thank you.
Nah, thank you.
It was a bless.
Pleasure's mine.
All right. I would say I really did enjoy this conversation, because it's like seeing two people that I would consider at the top of whatever side of the field they're on, but for them both to like step from those high places and to sit down and to have like a real open and honest conversation, but for also two people that seem like they really enjoy the other's art and are happy that they can speak to somebody that might be able to understand truly what they're saying at a time. I've learned a few things about each of these people that I didn't think. I already know quite a bit about Pharrell. Come on now. We know what that is. But this was a really good interview. I did enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed all the BS I was talking in the middle or whatever. But yeah, that's going to be it for me on this one. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm happy to get this one wrapped up. Please do hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description. And I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.